If you ever wondered what AI thinks of Kerbal, this is probably a great example. So Jeff and I are making another channel about blasting off your YouTube using AI tools. And I thought, since I like rockets, I said, let's have an AI thumbnail with rockets. And this is what ChatGPT, which is what we were using at the time, came up with. And it looks pretty cool. You got the logo of the YouTube, you got a rocket, you got this solar panel thing, space, everything's good. But then it added this little green alien. And it's like, that kind of looks like a Kerbal. So we ran it through another time saying, okay, well, give us a couple other examples. And the second example, we're like, this really looks like a Kerbal. Now, obviously, the eyes are black and not white. And, there's some other little aspects like that. Doesn't look like an actual Kerbal rocket. It actually looks like a reasonably real rocket that, sort of 1970s, 80s sort of vintage. But overall, it was like, let's see what happens if we can, go a little further with this and get, how Kerbalish will the AI go. So this gets us to the next image where we actually asked it to add a whole bunch of text. And here we ended up with a bunch of text, and AI and text apparently does not know how to spell and or grammar. But it did create a Kerbal-ish, but this kind of was more of an utter disappointment. But then I was like, okay, let's have some fun with this. So we said, well, let's make it look a little bit more photorealistic, and it came up with this photo here. Now, this actually looks a little bit more like Kerbal, where it's like, all right, we got the green aliens in their little spacesuits and stuff. We got the massive explosion on the pad, but now they have ears. And it's like, okay, well, cool. So we asked it to say, can you make one even more photorealistic? In which case we came up with this absolutely beautiful thumbnail right here. Now, this is probably the thumbnail that we're going to use for that video. We're going to probably get rid of those extra YouTube logos flying around and just keep the rocket, the clouds, and everything else. But like, wow, this looks amazing. And now that we sort of said, okay, we've got our thumbnail for the video that we're going to make, and if you want to, you find out about how to like lift off with AI for your YouTube channels. I decided to say to my friend Jeff, who's the one using all this, can we make it more Kerbal? And ladies and gentlemen, ChatGPT did not disappoint. Now, I have no idea why none of them have spacesuits at this point, which doesn't really give you that full Kerbal feeling, but that launch definitely looks like something that comes out of Kerbal Space Program. Oh my goodness. And yeah, they're all running for their lives, which also isn't very much of a Kerbal thing, because Kerbal seem to really like danger and death. That seems to be their modus operandi. But you have to admit, this is a thumbnail that people are going to click on. And how do I know this? Because you clicked on this thumbnail to get to this video, which is absolutely crazy. Colorful, everything you could possibly ever want. But yeah, that's realistically what AI thinks of Kerbal. So we decided, okay, what does AI think a normal Kerbal world would look like? Because at this point, I'm going for broke. And it came up with this very interesting photo. And the reason why this is funny is because the Kerbals have guns. The Kerbals are packing like weapons. And it's like, it kind of looks like they went to the fair and then decided to have a shootout. And it's not really clear who's shooting who, but they all seem pretty happy about it. And more Kerbalish kind of airplanes are flying in the sky, and apparently a lot of cactuses. I guess it's because it's a very deserted world that came up with desert. I don't know, but yeah, ChatGPT AI, all right. That's what it thinks a Kerbal world is. So for the last image, we went with, well, what would Kerbals in our world look like? Or what would our world look like with Kerbals? And I have to say that this last photo is, wow. This is probably the closest realistically looking Kerbals I've ever seen from anything ChatGPT has made, because this looks like actual Kerbals. Like, they're in their spacesuits, they look like Kerbals, their eyes are, a little wonky, but, in that Kerbal wonkiness. And we can see here that, other than they threw a whole bunch of space stuff in the sky, yeah, it took a whole bunch of things from our world, slapped in a whole bunch of buildings and stuff, and buses and cars and stuff. But yeah, this probably a pretty accurate representation of what Kerbals would look like in our world, except for the fact that all these Kerbals are like 8 and 9 feet tall. But there you go. That's what ChatGPT thinks of Kerbals. And if you want to learn more about YouTube, feel free to check out the Creator Hive. If you want to watch more Kerbal craziness and other rocket games, then Pico Space Industries is where you want to be. And thank you for watching.